You know those simple tuning forks that piano tuners use? Well, imagine shrinking one down to, like, a billionth of a meter.
Wow.
Yeah, a billionth of a meter.
Yeah.
That's the scale we're talking about today. Nanomechanical resonator.
Nanomechanical resonators.
We're diving into the super recent article from Chalmers University of Technology. It just came out on November 7th, 2024.
Oh, very recent.
Yeah, hot off the press. It's about a pretty big breakthrough in the field.
Okay.
So by the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly how these tiny vibrating devices actually work, why this new discovery is such a big deal,
Right.
and what it could mean for things like, quantum computing and all that.
It really is a fascinating journey, you know. You start with something so simple like a tuning fork.
Yeah, exactly.
And end up in these complex realms of quantum sensing.
Okay, so let's start with that tuning fork then.
Sure.
It vibrates at a very specific frequency to create that sound wave, right?
Right.
But how do researchers even make something that small vibrate? I mean, it's so tiny.
Well, they use these really incredible microfabrication techniques
Oh, wow.
to basically miniaturize the resonators.
Uh-huh.
And actually, at these smaller scales,
Right.
they vibrate at much higher frequencies.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Higher frequencies. So what does that actually mean for the resonator itself?
It means they become incredibly sensitive.
Really?
I mean, think about it this way. We could be talking about being able to weigh a single molecule.
Wow.
That's how sensitive we're talking.
Yeah.
They can sense the tiniest forces or,
Yeah.
changes in mass. It's incredible.
That really opens up a world of possibilities.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about, like, shrinking a tuning fork.
Right.
It's that by making it small, it
Yeah.
suddenly gets these new, potentially really useful properties.
Exactly. And that's actually why quantum physicists are getting so excited about this.
I was going to ask about that, actually. What makes these resonators so interesting in the quantum world?
Well, they could potentially help us reach even greater levels of sensitivity and precision.
Okay.
Because at the quantum level, objects can exist in multiple states at the same time. It's bizarre, but true.
Yeah, I know.
So we could potentially use these quantum states of motion
Okay.
to make the resonators even more sensitive
Wow.
than they already are. And that,
Yeah.
it opens doors for better sensors and even advancements in quantum computing even.
Quantum computers using tiny vibrating things. Okay, I'm intrigued now.
Right.
The article keeps mentioning this mechanical quality factor.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that is?
Think of it as how long the resonator can keep vibrating without losing energy.
Oh.
The higher the quality factor, the better it is for sensing and also for those quantum applications we were talking about.
So high quality factor equals a better, more sensitive resonator for longer.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And it means it's very efficient, very stable over time.
Right.
Now, silicon nitride, that's a material that's often used for really high-performing resonators
Okay.
because it has excellent mechanical properties, which is great for a high-quality factor,
Uh-huh.
but, it also has limitations.
So what's the issue with silicon nitride?
It's not very versatile.
Okay.
For example, it can't conduct electricity,
Oh, wow.
and it has no magnetic properties.
Okay.
So for a lot of applications, you need the resonator to interact with other systems.
I see.
And to do that, you usually need to add other materials on top.
But wouldn't that affect the quality factor, like weigh it down or something?
You're exactly right. Adding other materials tends to lower the quality factor,
Oh, I see.
which then limits the resonator's overall performance.
Oh, it's like a trade-off, like
Yeah.
more functionality,
Yeah,
but less efficiency.
exactly.
I'm guessing this is where the breakthrough comes in.
You got it. The researchers at Chalmers have found a new material, aluminum nitride, that could change everything.
Aluminum nitride, huh? Tell me why this is such a big deal.
Well, unlike silicon nitride, aluminum nitride is piezoelectric,
Okay.
meaning it can actually convert mechanical motion into electrical signals
Uh-huh.
and vice versa.
So it can interact with other systems without needing all those extra materials on top.
Exactly. Best of both worlds.
Wow.
Really great mechanical properties for that high-quality faster
Yeah.
and the ability to directly control the resonator and integrate it with other systems.
That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
The article mentioned a quality factor of over 10 million for this new aluminum nitride resonator.
Phenomenal.
That's got to be good.
It's amazing. Really a huge step forward.
Wow.
It shows this could be a really powerful platform for all kinds of quantum technologies.
Okay.
And this brings us to the really exciting part, quantum sensing.
Okay. This is where it starts to sound like science fiction.
Right.
What kind of things could these sensors actually be used for?
Imagine sensors that can measure tiny changes in magnetic fields,
Uh-huh.
gravity,
Okay.
even, dark matter.
Wait, hold on. Dark matter? With this?
Yeah, think about it.
How?
These sensors are so precise.
Yeah.
They could actually pick up the vibrations from dark matter particles,
Wow.
interacting with ordinary matter.
So we could actually have, like, concrete evidence of dark matter?
Potentially, yeah.
All thanks to these tiny resonators.
It's incredible, really.
Okay, before we get too carried away with all these futuristic applications,
Yeah.
what are the next steps for these researchers? What are they doing now?
Well, they have two main goals.
Yeah.
First, to push that quality factor even higher. I mean, why stop at 10 million?
Right.
And second, to design resonators specifically for these quantum sensing applications.
I see.
They really want to take advantage of all of aluminum nitride's unique properties.
So the future of quantum sensing could actually depend on these tiny vibrating pieces of aluminum nitride.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's pretty incredible how far we've come from that simple tuning fork,
It really is.
But before we go any further, the article mentioned something about tensile strained aluminum nitride. What does that even mean? And why is it so important?
Well, tensile strain basically means that the material is being stretched
Okay.
at a microscopic level, of course.
Right.
It's like pulling on a rubber band. It stores energy.
Okay.
And by doing this, you can actually enhance the material's piezoelectric properties,
Oh, interesting.
making it even more efficient at converting motion into electrical signals and back again.
So it's like we're giving aluminum nitride a superpower boost,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
making it even better for these resonators.
Absolutely.
But how does that tie back into the whole tuning fork analogy?
Imagine, stretching that tuning fork,
Yeah.
It would change how it vibrates, right?
Right.
Same thing happens at the microscopic level with aluminum nitride.
Okay.
The tensile strain actually changes how the atoms are arranged within the material,
Mm-hmm.
which then affects those piezoelectric properties and helps achieve these really high-quality factors.
So it's like we have high-frequency vibrations,
Yeah.
tensile strain, piezoelectricity,
Yeah.
all working together.
Right.
It really is like a recipe for a quantum sensing superhero.
I like that.
But what kind of impact could all of this have in the, real world? We talked about medical imaging
Yeah.
and navigation before, but what else?
Oh, the possibilities are really vast.
Like what?
Just think about environmental monitoring, for instance.
Okay.
We could detect tiny traces of pollutants,
Uh-huh.
track changes in the Earth's magnetic field,
Yeah.
even monitor seismic activity
Wow.
with just incredible accuracy.
That's amazing.
And of course, we can't forget about fundamental research,
Right.
probing the mysteries of dark matter, understanding the very fabric of the universe.
A lot.
Big questions.
Yeah.
But these are the kinds of challenges these sensors could help us tackle.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm starting to get on board with all the hype about quantum sensing.
I know, it's exciting.
But, realistically, are we talking years, decades?
Yeah.
When will we actually see this technology in use?
Well, it's early days, of course,
Right.
and there's still a lot of work to do, a lot of engineering and development,
I see.
but the progress is really exciting, honestly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw practical applications within the next decade, even.
Wow, so we might be interacting with quantum-powered devices sooner than we think.
It's definitely within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's so fascinating about this field.
Yeah.
It feels like we're right on the verge of a technological revolution,
Uh-huh.
and these tiny resonators could be leading the way.
It's a good reminder that sometimes, the smallest things
Yeah.
can have the biggest impact.
Absolutely.
But the article also mentioned that the Chalmers team is collaborating with a team in Germany.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. They're working with scientists at the University of Magdeburg.
Okay.
They specialize in growing these high-quality aluminum nitride crystals.
Interesting.
And remember how we were talking about tensile strain?
Yeah.
Well, achieving that level of strain requires incredibly precise crystal growth techniques.
Oh, wow.
And that's where the Magdeburg team comes in.
So Chalmers focuses on the resonator design and fabrication.
Yeah,
And Magdeburg brings the material expertise.
exactly. A perfect partnership.
It's a great example of how important scientific collaboration is.
Absolutely.
Combining their knowledge and resources to push the boundaries of what's possible in quantum sensing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also a good reminder that science is rarely a solo endeavor,
Definitely.
It takes a global community of researchers all working together
It really does.
to make those big discoveries and solve those big challenges.
I completely agree.
But we'll have to pick this back up in part 2 of our deep dive. I'm sure our listeners are just as excited about these possibilities as I am.
I bet they are. Yeah, it really is amazing how these, little discoveries can have such a ripple effect.
You know, it's incredible to think we started with this simple tuning fork.
Right.
And now we're talking about, detecting dark matter and revolutionizing computing and stuff.
It's crazy.
It really shows how creative these researchers are,
That's true.
so persistent and dedicated.
Yeah, they saw the potential in these tiny things and just went for it.
And that's what makes science so cool, right?
Exactly,
It's all about asking the big questions and challenging assumptions.
Yeah, pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. And those discoveries can come from the most unexpected places sometimes.
Totally.
Who would have thought that studying these, tiny vibrating things would lead to us potentially, rethinking our understanding of the universe, right?
It's pretty wild.
It's a good reminder that we should never underestimate the power of, curiosity.
Oh, absolutely.
And fundamental research.
Yeah, fundamental research is key.
We never know what we might find, right?
You never know. And speaking of fundamental research,
yeah,
the article also mentioned that aluminum nitride could be really important in developing something called quantum transducers.
Quantum transducers. Okay, that's a new one.
Yeah.
What are those?
Think of them like bridges between different quantum systems.
Okay.
They allow those systems to actually talk to each other.
So a universal translator for the quantum world.
Exactly. That's a great analogy.
That's pretty cool.
And aluminum nitride, with its ability to convert between mechanical motion and electrical signals.
Right.
It could be the perfect material for building these bridges.
Why is that? How would that actually work?
It goes back to that unique property we talked about earlier. Piezoelectricity.
Right.
Imagine you have, a superconducting qubit.
Okay.
Which is basically the building block of a quantum computer.
Yeah.
And then you have a mechanical resonator, like the ones we've been talking about.
Right.
An aluminum nitride transducer could actually act as the link between those two.
Oh, wow.
Allowing them to exchange information.
So it's translating a message from one language to another, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a quantum communication system.
So it's not just sensing anymore.
Right.
It's about building the infrastructure for, a whole quantum network, almost like
the quantum internet.
Wow. Okay. These tiny resonators are like diplomats.
I love that analogy.
Between different parts of the quantum world.
It's perfect. And this ability to connect different quantum systems is, crucial for building more complex technologies.
Yeah.
These, quantum computers and networks.
Yeah. It really is laying the groundwork for, the quantum age.
Exactly.
This has gotten way bigger than I initially imagined.
I know. It's mind-blowing.
We're not just talking about sensors anymore. It's a whole new technological paradigm.
Yeah, a whole new way of thinking about technology.
This is a lot to process.
It is.
So, what's the main takeaway for our listener? What do we want them to understand about all of this?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is just to appreciate the power of curiosity and to never underestimate, the importance of even the smallest discoveries.
Yeah.
Sometimes those seemingly, obscure areas of research can lead to the most groundbreaking advancements.
That's very true.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be inspired to, join this amazing journey.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Of exploration and discovery.
We need more curious minds, pushing the boundaries of science.
Absolutely.
So to our listeners out there, whether you're a seasoned scientist or just starting out,
keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning, keep asking those questions, and keep exploring.
Yeah, the world around you.
You never know what you might find.
Exactly. And remember, the future of quantum technology, it's just brimming with possibilities.
It really is. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's go back to some of the applications we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
You mentioned that medical imaging could be revolutionized.
Oh, yeah.
Can you, elaborate on how that might actually work?
Well, think about it. With these super sensitive sensors,
yeah,
doctors could potentially detect diseases at their earliest stages.
Wow.
Imagine being able to pick up on the subtlest changes.
Yeah.
At a cellular level. Even
incredible.
That could mean, earlier interventions,
right.
More effective treatments.
Yeah.
And potentially even saving countless lives.
That would be huge.
It'd be a game changer.
And what about navigation? How could this technology impact that field?
Imagine GPS systems that are orders of magnitude more accurate than what we have today.
Wow.
We're talking about navigation systems that could pinpoint your location down to the centimeter.
That's crazy.
It would be a game changer for self-driving cars, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Precision agriculture.
Yeah.
Even, search and rescue operations.
It sounds like we're talking about a future where these tiny resonators are integrated into almost every aspect of our lives.
It's not out of the question.
Wow.
That's what's so exciting about this technology,
Yeah.
The potential applications are really limitless, only limited by our imagination.
And speaking of limitations, are there any, drawbacks or challenges that researchers still need to overcome?
Of course, like any new technology.
Yeah.
There are always challenges.
Right.
One of the big ones is scalability.
Okay.
Right now, these resonators are mostly made in labs, to really unlock their potential. We need to figure out how to mass produce them.
Right.
Efficiently and cost effectively.
So it's not just about the science, it's also about the engineering and the manufacturing processes.
Exactly. And there are also questions about integration,
Right.
Like how do we seamlessly incorporate these quantum sensors into existing technologies? How do we build the infrastructure to support them?
That's a good point.
These are all challenges that researchers are working on right now.
It sounds like there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there is.
But the progress being made is, truly remarkable.
It really is.
And it seems like every new discovery, opens up even more possibilities.
Yeah, it's like a chain reaction of innovation.
Speaking of learning, the article mentioned something about these resonators potentially helping us understand the universe better.
Right.
I know we touched on dark matter.
Yeah.
But are there other ways they could be used in, astrophysics and stuff?
Absolutely. Imagine using these resonators to build incredibly precise gravitational wave detectors.
Wow. Okay.
We could study the collisions of black holes and neutron stars.
That's intense.
I know, right? And we could do it with unprecedented clarity.
Wow.
Gaining a deeper understanding of the most extreme environments in the universe.
So we're not just talking about detecting dark matter. We're talking about listening to the symphony of the universe.
That's beautiful. I love that.
In a way we never could before.
Yeah, it's like these tiny resonators are becoming our ears to the cosmos.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is.
Revealing secrets that have been hidden for, billions of years.
It's mind-blowing.
This is all so incredibly fascinating.
I know. It's really cool.
And I'm sure our listeners are, just as captivated by these possibilities as I am.
I bet they are. But we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
What's the one key message you want our listeners to take away from this deep dive?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What's the big takeaway? I'd say the most important thing is to, stay curious.
Oh, yeah.
The world of quantum technology is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
It's full of surprises.
That's true.
So keep exploring.
Yeah.
Keep asking questions.
Keep learning.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to make the next groundbreaking discovery.
That's inspiring advice.
I hope so.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, there's one more area I want to touch on. The ethical implications of all of this.
That's crucial.
You know?
We can't overlook that.
Yeah, as with any powerful technology.
Right.
There are potential ethical considerations that, need to be carefully addressed.
Absolutely.
So what are some of those concerns?
Well, one thing to consider is privacy, for example.
Right.
These sensors are incredibly sensitive.
Yeah.
And they could be used to gather, very personal data.
Oh, wow.
Without someone's knowledge or consent.
That's a little scary.
It is a bit, so we need to think carefully about, how to safeguard individual privacy as this technology becomes more common.
And what about, the potential for misuse?
Yeah.
Could these sensors be used for malicious purposes?
That's definitely a possibility we can't ignore.
Right.
As with any technology, there's always the risk that it could be used for unintended purposes.
That's true.
That's why it's so important to have these open and honest conversations about the potential risks and to develop safeguards and regulations to mitigate those risks.
So it's not just about developing the technology, it's about developing it responsibly.
Exactly. It needs to go hand in hand with a thoughtful and ethical approach.
It's a reminder that technology is never neutral,
It's true.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
And how we use that tool will determine its impact on society.
Well said.
Okay, so where do we go from here? What are the next steps in this, quantum journey?
I think the next few years will be really crucial, for the development and deployment of this technology.
Okay.
We'll probably see more research breakthroughs, new companies popping up, increased investment from like governments and private industries.
And as the technology matures, we'll start to see more real-world applications from personalized healthcare to smarter cities to a deeper understanding of the universe even.
It's really exciting.
It sounds like we're on the cusp of a new era.
I think we are.
One where quantum technologies will play this really transformative role in our lives.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
But as we embrace these advancements, we need to do so with both excitement and caution,
Yeah.
We need to be mindful of the potential risks while also harnessing the power of this technology to solve some of the biggest challenges facing humanity.
Well said. It's a delicate balance.
It is.
But it's one we need to strike if we want to create a future that is both, technologically advanced and ethically responsible.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive.
Yes.
We started with this simple tuning fork.
Right.
And we ended up exploring the frontiers of quantum technology.
I know.
And its potential to reshape our world.
It's amazing.
It's a reminder that even the smallest discoveries can have a profound impact.
It's true. It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you and our listeners.
Yeah, it's been great.
And I hope this deep dive has inspired everyone to stay curious, to keep exploring, and to just embrace the possibilities that lie ahead.
I couldn't agree more. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this incredible exploration of nanomechanical resonators.
Yes, thanks for listening.
And the world of quantum sensing.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep asking questions.
Yeah, keep learning.
Keep learning and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
That's what it's all about.
So we've talked a lot about the science behind these tiny resonators.
Yeah.
And even some pretty mind-blowing potential applications.
Right.
But I think it's time to kind of zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. What could this technology actually mean for society as a whole?
Yeah, that's a really important question to consider.
Right.
I mean, we've talked about the potential benefits, obviously.
Right, advancements in healthcare and all that.
Exactly, healthcare, navigation, environmental monitoring. It's a huge list.
Right. But we also need to think about the potential downsides, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, with any powerful technology.
Yeah, there's always a risk of misuse, unintended consequences.
Right.
Even social disruption, it's a lot to consider.
We ended the last part talking about those privacy concerns.
Yeah, privacy is a big one.
Yeah, and how these sensors could potentially be used to collect, personal data.
Right, and without people even realizing it, which is a bit worrying.
What are some other ethical challenges we might run into as this technology evolves?
Well, one thing we have to think about is access and equity.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Will everyone benefit from this technology?
Right.
Or will it just make existing inequalities even worse?
That's a good point.
We need to make sure that access to these advancements is fair for everyone.
Yeah, so that everyone can share in the benefits.
Exactly.
What about the impact on jobs?
The job market, yeah.
If these quantum sensors become as widespread as we think they might, could that lead to job losses in certain industries?
It's definitely a possibility.
I mean, automation's already had a big impact on a lot of industries, right?
Right.
And it's possible that quantum sensing could, speed that process up even more.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that new technology also creates new jobs.
Oh, right.
New opportunities.
Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Not at all. The key is to anticipate these changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And prepare the workforce for the jobs of the future.
So it's about adapting,
exactly,
evolving alongside the technology, not just reacting to it.
We need to be proactive, shape the future we want to see.
And we have a responsibility, right, to use this technology wisely.
Absolutely wisely and ethically.
So that it benefits everyone.
All of humanity. Yeah. And that means having those open conversations.
Yeah.
About the risks and the benefits,
Right.
Involving lots of different perspectives in the decision-making, developing guidelines, regulations.
It's a lot.
But it's important to get it right.
It's like you said earlier, technology is never neutral.
Never. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And how we use that tool is what really matters.
Okay, so where do we go from here? What are the next steps on this this whole quantum journey?
Well, I think the next few years will be crucial. That's when we'll really see this technology start to take shape. More breakthroughs, new companies, more investment from governments, all of that.
And as it matures, we'll
Yes.
start to see those like real-world applications, right?
Exactly. Personalized healthcare, smarter cities, a deeper understanding of the universe. It's all on the horizon.
It sounds like we're on the edge of a new era almost.
It does, doesn't it?
Where quantum technology is going to play this like massive role in our lives.
It's a pretty incredible time to be alive, honestly.
It is.
Yeah.
But as we embrace all these advancements,
Yeah.
we have to be careful, right?
Absolutely. Excitement and caution.
We need to be aware of the risks,
Yeah.
but also be ready to use this technology to like solve some of those big challenges we've been talking about.
It's a balancing act for sure.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
I mean, we started with a simple tuning fork.
Right back to basics.
And ended up on the frontiers of quantum technology.
The journey's just beginning.
And thinking about how it could, like, completely reshape our world.
It's mind-blowing, really.
It's amazing how even the smallest discoveries can have such a huge impact.
Well said. It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you.
Likewise.
And with all our listeners out there.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And I hope this deep dive has inspired you all to stay curious.
Yeah, keep learning.
Keep exploring.
And keep asking questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And never be afraid to, push the boundaries of what's possible.
That's what it's all about. So until next time.
Until next time.
Keep exploring the world of science and technology with us.
We'll see you then.